Hello and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that just found out that Alan Alda has been cast as the new villain in Season 8 of Game of Thrones. Hey, I'm glad to be here. I love the White Walkers and I love the Lannisters. You people are great, and the dragons. But let me ask you, does anybody know where I can get a really good onion? I can't find, it's hard to find one around here. I hate this war. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Space Marines, Labyrinth of the Necrons from Games Workshop. In Space Marines, Labyrinth of the Necrons from Games Workshop, 1 to 4 players take on the roles of the iconic Space Marines. This, of course, is in the grim, far future of Warhammer 40k, where you have these Marines who are like genetically altered Supermen who have to go and fight all sorts of crazy space monsters, like the Eldar and the Tyranids, and yes, you guessed it, the Necrons. And the Necrons are pretty nasty. The game comes with 5 Space Marine characters from the different chapters. In any game, you're going to actually play with 4. Now, depending on how many you play with, you're always going to play with 4. Now, I'll tell you right now, I've only played this game solo. I played it about 3 times solo, so that's kind of what my thoughts on it are, but you can play it cooperatively as well. Regardless, you're always going to play with 4 Marines. Now, first thing you're going to do is select one of 3 double-sided boards it comes with. These are kind of labyrinths and with spaces in it that you're going to move around, move through, and battle the Necrons and try to achieve your objectives. But you're also going to set on the, depending on which mission you're playing, you're going to set a number of tokens there. And that's important because the game comes with 3 different mission levels. It's kind of got an easier one, a more difficult one, and a more difficult one there. And these mission packs actually say do not open when you get it so that you can kind of gradually ease yourself into learning how to play the game. But essentially, what you're going to do with the missions is attach a stairwell to one of the 4 openings on the board somewhere. That's where the Marines are going to come in. You can go ahead and place the Marines on there. Now, on the other 3, you're going to place these kind of portals that are closed that you can't get through. Now, on the reverse side of one of them, and you don't know which because you're going to shuffle them, is the way out. But before you can do that, you're going to have to meet a specific objective. You're going to have to get to some kind of control panel, or you're going to have to battle some evil guy. So you put whatever the objective is out there on a special objective space on every board. And then you're going to populate the board with Necrons. The specific mission may tell you how many Necrons and what kind of Necrons you're going to put out there. You've got different kinds of Necrons. You've got kind of the basic warriors. You've got the Immortals, and then you've got the I don't recall the other ones that are really more powerful. And then, of course, you've got the big bad guy himself. So there's a lot of different levels of Necrons that you're going to be fighting, and they are represented by tokens. And you put all these tokens in a bag, depending on what mission you're doing. You're going to reach into the bag and pull those out and populate the board that way. Now, critically, each of the Marines is also going to get kind of a special card. You got a deck of special cards, you shuffle them, you grab 2 per Marine, and then you select which one you want to keep and which one you want to put back in the deck. And these special cards are all sorts of things. Like one of them is kind of like a medical kit that can actually heal Marines. The other ones are specific to specific Marines that you're going to play that can allow them to do special abilities throughout the game. So there's a lot of variation in these special cards to what the Marines can do. Now, the game also is going to come with 2 other very special decks. You're going to have the activation deck, which means it's going to tell you who activates. Do the Marines activate or do the Necrons activate? You're going to shuffle that. You've got in the deck 2 of each of the Marines have a card, and then I think you have 4 of the Necrons have a card. So you shuffle that up. You never know who's going to go next, so you can't plan a strategy just you go, then you go, then you go. You've got to go by what the card activates. You also have the Necron deck. So whenever you draw the Necron card, you draw the card off the Necron deck. And what that's going to do is that's usually going to put out more Necrons on these specific spaces, these kind of teleportation areas or whatever, where they come through. That's what it's usually going to do, but there's also some other nasty things that may come up. You may lose a turn. One of the next Marine to get his card come up may lose that turn. You may lose actions. You may do all sorts of things that are pretty nasty and mean. So when it is your turn, when you are activated, you look at your card and you have a number of actions. Now the actions essentially are pretty easy in this game. You can move. Essentially you move one adjacent space for one action. You can attack. Now when you attack, if you are adjacent, you can attack, or you've got a range. Some of them can only shoot maybe 3 spaces, some of them can shoot like up to 8 spaces. So you've got a range that you're going to do there for your attack, and then of course you can play your special card if you have that special card ability. That too will let you attack. Some spaces on the board also may let you do certain things as well. Now, what's going to happen is, as you are moving, really, the Necrons aren't shooting at you, and they're not moving per se, but they are spawning. And if ever they spawn on a spot where you are, you would take a wound. That's essentially how they attack you. You take a wound, you flip your card over to its wounded side. Now, that's it. If you get hit again, you're dead, you're out of the game. There is player elimination. So what you got to do is try to avoid getting wounded. But of course that's going to happen sometimes, and if somebody's got a med kit, they can help you out with that. But each Marine also has special abilities. For instance, the Ultramarine, he's got a chainsaw. If he's in close combat, he gets a +1 on dice rolls. And most of these dice rolls aren't too hard. You know, you're rolling to hit, say 3 or above, or 4 or above, or 5 or above. And you can get a +1 there. You got one guy who's got a great range. If he's firing at somebody who is not adjacent to him, he gets a +1. You got the green guy, Salamander, I think. He's got a flamer, so you got a chance if you attack someone, you roll a 6, you can actually flame the people adjacent to him too. So there's stuff like that. A lot of different, the gray wolf gets like a close quarter attack. The red guy, the Blood Angels, he can actually look at the Necron card before it's drawn, so you can kind of see what's going on. So each one has different abilities that they can use during the game that are very, very helpful. Now each mission has an objective. Usually it's getting to the objective square and activating the exit portal, essentially. And what this usually consists of is rolling a 6. You just got to go there, spend your actions to roll a 6 while these Necrons are gaining. As soon as you roll a 6, then you can reveal the portals. Whichever one has the empty one, you place the exit stairwell next to, and then you got to get out. Most of the mission briefings say if you can get all 4 of your guys out, it's a major victory. If you can only get 3 of them out, it's a minor victory. 2, it's a draw, and 1 or none, you lose the game. So that's basically the victory conditions there. And that's basically the overview of how you play each of the missions. There are, however, kind of these advanced mission cards, and they give you like side missions and other fun and interesting things you got to do while you're there, while you're in the midst of it. But essentially, that's how you win. You get your guys in, you fight the Necrons, you get your objective, and you get out. And if you can get all the guys out, you win a major victory in Space Marines, Labyrinth of the Necrons. So I got to tell you, I'm a fan of this IP. I remember when I was in high school, I played Space Hulk, which, on my PC, which is the game where you're going around you're fighting the Tyranids, and you're going around the spaceships, and you're shooting them, and you can control multiple guys, and it was a lot of fun. I really liked it, and I bought it later on PC, or on PlayStation. I didn't like it as much on PlayStation, because you didn't have all the different displays, but I really liked it on PC. It was a super fun game. I really enjoyed it quite a bit. Years later, my friend Jason, who turned me on to Space Hulk, he actually started buying some of the minis, and I think we played that once or twice, and the mini game wasn't really my forte. I mean, I liked it, but I didn't love it. I could see the appeal to painting it. I'm not a painter, but I could see the appeal. But I never really got into it. But I did read a few of the books. My friend Jason let me read some of the books. He recommended some of the books, and I read them. And I enjoyed what I read. It was fun. I really liked that grim universe. I really liked the IP. And then, of course, when Forbidden Stars came out from Fantasy Flight Games, I fell in love with that game. I got it right down here. It's a great game, and it's a great IP. So when I saw this game come out, I was like, oh, I like the Space Marines. This looks pretty cool. And it looked like it was a pretty simple cooperative game. I went, okay, this looks cool. Well, as I'm reading through the rules, I'm thinking, this is really simple. And I looked at the age, and it's like 8 and up. And I'm thinking, oh man, this is really simple. And I'm reading it, and I'm like, okay, well, all right. I was expecting a little more meat to it, but I played the game, and the game really, really, really reminded me a lot of Space Hulk, the old PC game I played, which I loved. It was like a board game version of that, except here you're fighting Necrons, where there you're fighting Tyranids. And I like the Necrons better. They're like space zombies. I like the Necrons. But it was very reminiscent of that game, and I really liked it. And like I said, I played this game about 3 times now, just solo. I've only played it solo, but I played it solo about 3 times, and I really have enjoyed it each time. But I've won it each time, too. It's not terribly hard. I haven't played it with the advanced cards yet, but I was reading through them, and I'm thinking, oh, why wasn't I playing with these? And I think they would add so much more flavor to it, and I'm hoping to hit those here before too long, because that just looks fun. But what I'm trying to say is, the game is not too hard. It's not a very difficult game, but it's still fun, and it's still interesting, and it's still creepy, and it's still scary, and it still is tense. And what I love about this game, too, is I'm kind of over dungeon crawlers per se. They're not my favorite anymore. I still like them, but they're not my favorite. And what I like about this is something I liked a lot about Fantasy Flight Games' Doom that came out a few years ago. That dungeon crawler, because the activation deck. Because I like not knowing who's going next. And you can't negotiate that. That's just something. Okay, I'm going, so you got to do your best. Then, oh, he's going. Oh, the game's going. It's some good AI there, and then the way the Necrons come out, really well done. Long story short, I had a lot of fun with this. This is not the most thinky game I've ever played, but there is strategy here. It's not the most grueling, challenging game, but it is tense, and most of all, it's fun. I just really like it. If you like the Space Marines IP, if you like the Warhammer IP, I think you're going to really get a kick out of this one. It's just fun, and it's quick, and it's short. It's only about 30 minutes. That's another reason why I like it. It didn't wear out its welcome. It played quick. I got in, I got it done, and I had fun. And I did. Every time I played this, I've had fun. Even when it was looking like I was going to win, I was still enjoying it. It's like, am I going to get them all out? Am I going to get them all out? And I really, really enjoyed it. Like I say, I think those cards will make it better, because I did feel there could have been a little more spice and sugar, and those cards, after reading through those, that's what the spice and sugar is. So I'd recommend playing with those cards. Otherwise, it may be a little saccharine for some people. But I got a kick out of it. Recommendation for Space Marines Labyrinth of the Necrons is buy it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. We are The Discriminating Gamer, and I gotta tell you, I just found out not too long ago that Alan Alda was also originally cast as Darth Vader. Luke, I gotta tell you, I'm your dad. That took me by surprise, too. Who knew? Why don't you come inside? We can have some cocoa. I hate this war. Please somebody help me on my feet again. And I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band. Ah yes, win, lose, or draw. Like the old Burt Reynolds, Burt Convy TV game show.